let's make heads or tails of this. Whose fault? Who's to blame, do you think?
There's so much to go around, but it lays at the feet of Dean Spanos. He's right. They worked for 15 years, a lot of it with their hand out, a lot of it waiting for something to break in Los Angeles or someone to help them out in San Diego. And it's not his fault that he doesn't have more money to put into it. It's his fault he didn't get more creative, that he didn't take better action. And in the end, he took the easy way. And quite honestly, based on projections, he took the smart way. If you're interested in making more money, and certainly with the fact that he won't be paying rent, there's less risk there. He's going to take, he's going to pay back a gigantic loan that he's taking out to be able to move to Los Angeles, and he feels a lot more comfortable about that not being a risk to him and his family than he did doing it in San Diego.
So what creativity do you think Spanos should have undertaken that you don't think he did in order to stay?
There were so many times in the past where an unwillingness, let's say, to take on a partner, an unwillingness to take some risk, which I get, Rich, is really easy for me to say, right, to risk other people's money. But it's sort of the Spanoses have a way of doing things, and that was going to be that they were going to be the sole owners of the team. They were going to reap the benefits of any ancillary development, and there wasn't going to be any other way around it. And if we're going back 15 years, which we are, then there was just a whole bunch of things that Dean said, no, let's not do that now, and let's see. So then what happens is we get to the last 2 years. And it really, there is, I've written so much on this, and I've talked so much about it, and I have defended Dean Spanos on many things. But there is one thing that gets my blood boiling, and it is when he talks about the measure from last year that was entirely devised by the Chargers that they acknowledged had holes in it, had left so many questions, and that, by the way, followed a recipe that they said for years would never work. This measure had no chance of passing. They knew it when they devised it. And for him to blame the fact that it only got 43% and say that was the deciding factor is disingenuous, Rich. I'm not a fan. I'm a guy who has covered this situation, and I'm telling you that it's borders on lying, and it is disingenuous, and it's justification that we all do when we make a decision to get out of a relationship and move on to the next one. We've got our justifications and our little things that we make sure we believe, and that's what Dean Spanos is doing here.
The San Diego Union Tribune's Kevin Acee joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. So are you somebody that says the city should have stepped up in a more meaningful manner, or someone who says that public money shouldn't be used for any of this anyway, when somebody can either borrow the money or has enough in the bank to spend it themselves?
Without a doubt, Rich, there were many times along this way, and I lost track, but I think we've had a half a dozen mayors. There's been corruption. There have been financial risks or a crisis, both locally and, of course, nationally during this past 15 years. This particular mayor, I have said several times, took too long and was wishy-washy on some certain issues. Absolutely, this city could have got something done in 2004, in 2006, and that was on them. Going back to this past year, 2 years, there wasn't any more for them to give. Look, it was a cagey game where the Chargers weren't saying what they wanted, and the NFL was sort of not really stepping in and letting the Chargers handle it. And the city was having trouble finding out what the Chargers wanted. The Chargers were having trouble finding out what the city wanted. I lay this at the feet of Dean Spanos in the end. There is lots of blame to go around. To blame it on the mayor, though, or even the elected officials, there isn't an appetite for a whole bunch of money, public subsidy for an NFL team to build a stadium here. That said, they had come up with, and it was a figure the Chargers believed, don't let them tell you they didn't, they had come up with $375 million that the Chargers believed was real, but the Chargers believed was not enough.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.